Welcome everyone. If you're a project manager, you know the chaos of juggling 10 different tools just to keep one project on track. It's overwhelming, inefficient, and honestly, exhausting. But what if everything was in one place? Project View PM is the all-in-one solution designed to combine an entire management suite into a single, powerful platform. Today, our two co-hosts will take you on a guided tour through a detailed slide deck to show exactly how this tool transforms workflows. Join them now as they dive in to give you a full insight into Project View PM. Enjoy the presentation.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We have a stack of documents today that addresses a very specific, very visceral kind of anxiety. You know that feeling? It usually hits around maybe 4:0 p.m. on a Sunday where you realize you have absolutely no idea what your team is actually working on.
Oh, yeah, the black box syndrome. It's a classic.
Right. It's just the total chaos of modern project management. You've got emails flying around, Slack messages completely burying important decisions, 3 different spreadsheets that
absolutely do not match.
Exactly. They never match. And, a Jira board that hasn't been updated since 2024. It's a mess. So today we're doing something a little different. We are analyzing a pitch deck from a company called Project View PM.
And they are making a really massive claim right out of the gate here. They aren't just selling like another to-do list app. They're pitching what they call an AI-powered command center.
Which sounds cool, but my skepticism radar goes off immediately when I see AI-powered plastered on literally everything these days. So our mission for this deep dive is to strip away all that marketing fluff. We're going to walk through this slide deck, slide by slide, to see if this platform actually offers total project visibility.
Or if it's just another tool to micromanage us into an early grave.
Exactly. Let's see if it actually lives up to the hype.
Okay, let's just jump right in. Looking at slide 1, the title slide, we've got a laptop screen here, dark mode, very sleek interface. The headline reads, Total Project Visibility, Zero Chaos.
Visually, right off the bat, they're signaling that enterprise meets consumer vibe. It looks like software you'd actually want to use, akin to a high-end creative tool, rather than, the gray, clunky enterprise software we're used to.
Right.
But the key phrase here is really in the subhead AI-powered command center. And at the bottom, they list planning, execution, intelligence, and reporting.
Why does that distinction matter, though, the command center part? Is it just branding? It's a lot more than that. Most legacy project management tools are passive. They are essentially just digital filing cabinets. You put data in, it sits there, and it collects dust until you actively go looking for it. A command center implies active monitoring.
So it's pushing information to you.
Exactly. It suggests the software is acting as a nervous system rather than just a storage unit. They're claiming to own the entire stack. Usually you have one tool for planning like MS Project and a totally different tool for execution like Asana.
And they never talk to each other, which is a great actionable tip right here for you listening. When you're evaluating new tools, look for those that promise active intelligence, not just passive management.
100%. That disconnection is exactly where the chaos creeps in.
Speaking of chaos, let's move to slide 2. This is labeled the problem, or as they call it, the visibility gap. We've got 3 icons here, a cracked database representing fragmented data, a very stressed employee buried in paper for manual overload, and broken speech bubbles for stakeholder misalignment.
Yeah, and there's a stat on this slide that honestly stopped me in my tracks. They claim project managers spend 30% of their week just compiling reports.
That seems insanely high.
Honestly, I think that's conservative. For complex organizations, absolutely. Think about the actual mechanics of it. You spend an hour chasing updates in Slack, then an hour copying those updates into Excel.
Right.
Then another hour formatting the PowerPoint for the executives because they refuse to read the Excel sheet.
Yeah.
That is context switching, and it is the single biggest killer of productivity in the knowledge economy.
And they call the result of this reactive management.
Which is just a polite corporate way of saying putting out fires. If you are spending your time compiling data, you aren't analyzing it, you aren't leading, you're scribing. You're basically a highly paid secretary for the software. Fixing this gap means shifting from reactive management to proactive leadership.
So the actionable tip here is to audit your own week.
Yeah.
If you find you're spending 30% of your time just compiling reports, you definitely have a visibility gap. So the pitch is moving from scribe to strategist. Let's see how they actually propose to do that on slide 3. It's titled One Platform, Total Control. This graphic looks sort of like a motherboard schematic.
Yeah, this is the architecture slide. You see the central Project View I logo connected by these purple circuit lines to 3 distinct screenshots. strategic visibility, automated intelligence, and execution and planning. They call it the unified ecosystem.
So it's connecting high-level strategy to ground-level execution.
The insight here is really about vertical integration. In legacy setups, the executives set the strategy in a PDF or a slide deck. The developers or creatives execute tasks in Jira or Monday.com. There is zero digital thread connecting them. Project View is trying to build that exact thread.
So executives get strategy, teams get execution tools, and PMs get the connection between both. It essentially eliminates the need to switch between apps.
Right. The competitive advantage here is that automated intelligence is built directly into the flow, unlike competitors where this might just be some clunky third-party plugin.
Which gives us a clear tip. Consolidate your tool stack. Ensure your high-level strategy flows directly into your daily execution tasks.
Exactly.
Which brings us to the actual interface. Let's look at slide 4. The dashboard, your morning coffee view. I love the idea that I can understand my entire job while the caffeine is still kicking in.
This is genuinely my favorite concept in the whole deck, and it's something every listener should apply immediately, even if they never touch this software. Exception-based management.
Break that down for us, because the slide says, "Good afternoon, project view," and then has 2 magnifying glasses zooming in on project health, which shows a needs attention score of 55 out of 100,
Yeah.
and project stats showing overdue tasks.
Right. Notice what it does not show you. It doesn't show you a list of 50 things going perfectly right. It shows you that failing grade of 55 out of 100.
Red is bad. Red is urgent.
The whole philosophy of exception-based management is that you should completely ignore the green. If a project is on track, don't touch it, don't micromanage your team, only focus your limited energy on the variances, the exceptions.
So instead of constantly asking everyone what the status is, you just look at the dashboard and instantly see, oh, the budget is burning too hot, or the timeline slipped.
Precisely. It eliminates the status hunt. You know exactly where you stand in about 5 seconds. The system aggregates the underlying data and gives you a holistic oversight, which is a huge competitive advantage over tools where budget and timeline are in separate windows.
So the tip here is powerful. Start your day by looking at the exceptions. Look at what's wrong rather than reviewing what's going right.
Let the greens take care of themselves.
But how do we actually fix those problems once we spot them? Let's go to slide 5, timeline precision planning. Now this looks like a Gantt chart, which honestly usually gives me hives.
I get it. Gantt charts have a terrible reputation because they are so brittle. You spend 3 days building one, it looks beautiful, and the moment the project actually starts, it's completely out of date. It just becomes a snapshot of a fantasy.
But look at the red overlay on this slide. It highlights automated critical path analysis.
This is crucial. For those who maybe skipped their PMP certification, the critical path is vital. Imagine a chain of dominoes. Some dominoes can wait a few days without delaying the final fall, but there is one specific sequence of dominoes that creates the absolute longest path through the project.
So if any single task on that specific path is delayed,
the entire project launch is delayed by 1 day. There's zero slack. In the old days, you had to calculate this structural integrity manually. Here, it looks native and automatic.
And there's a purple arrow pointing to auto-adjusting dependencies.
That's the real game changer for efficiency, predictive control. If design takes 2 extra days, you don't manually reschedule 50 downstream tasks. You drag the one that slipped, and the engine automatically ripples the changes through the schedule, preventing manual errors.
That saves hours right there. And the actionable tip for you listening, always identify your critical path first. Let the software manage the shifting dates.
Always. If you don't know your critical path, you really don't know your launch date.
Okay, let's look at the day-to-day work on slide 6, task management drive accountability. It's a split screen. List view for action items on one side, Kanban board on the other. Standard stuff, right?
The flexible views are standard, sure. Everyone has list and Kanban toggles now. But look closer at that little pop-up bubble on the screen. It highlights traceability. It explicitly links tasks back to the meetings where they were created.
Oh, wow. I missed that at first glance. That is really clever.
It addresses a massive issue that I like to call context rot. How often have you looked at a task in your system, something vague like update the API key, and thought, why does this exist? Who asked for this?
Constantly. And usually the person who asked for it doesn't even remember either.
Exactly. You just stare at it. This feature links the task to the source truth, the meeting minutes, or the strategy doc. It creates an instant audit trail of decision-making.
So it completely solves stakeholder misalignment. You never wonder why a task is there.
That traceability is a unique competitive differentiator for driving accountability.
So the tip here is to never create a task without linking it to the source, like a meeting or a document, to maintain that context.
Kill the context rot before it starts.
Love that. Speaking of things that rot and cause anxiety, let's talk money. Slide 7 is Budget Financial Mastery. We're looking at a financial dashboard showing total budget versus total spent with a breakdown by labor, materials, and software.
And notice the magnifying glass highlighting AI-driven burn rate analysis and budget forecast. This moves us from basically just accounting to actual forecasting.
Because most project budgets are lagging indicators, right?
Exactly. You usually find out you overspent a month after the invoices are already processed, which is way too late. This burn rate analysis is a leading indicator. Predictive forecasting.
So it's predicting the weather, not just reporting the rain.
Great way to put it. It looks at your current rate of spend and projects it forward. It tells you, hey, you have budget right now, but at this speed, you are going to run out of cash by November 12th.
No more budget surprises. That moves budget management from a reactive report to a proactive tool. The competitive advantage over spreadsheet-based methods is huge because this is native and predictive.
Assuming, of course, that your team is actually inputting financial data regularly. But yes, it's incredibly powerful for executives and PMs.
So the actionable tip here, monitor your burn rate weekly to predict variances before they become actual deficits.
The rate always tells you the future.
Now, slide 8 might be the one that actually sells this thing to the average worker. AI meeting notes, stop typing, start listening.
This is the feature teams always love the most. We are seeing this tech everywhere now, but having it natively built into the project tool is the secret sauce.
The graphic shows a raw transcript transforming via a magic wand icon into AI-extracted intelligence, like an executive summary and key discussion points.
It drastically reduces admin time. But it's not just about saving typing time, it's about synthesizing consensus.
Synthesizing consensus, what does that actually mean in practice?
Human memory is incredibly flawed. We leave a meeting, and I think we agreed to plan A, and you think we agreed to plan B. We both leave happy, but we are totally misaligned. The AI transcript doesn't have an ego. It objectively captures the commitment.
And I see it highlights instant action items automatically. So if someone says, I'll send that report by Friday, the system just creates a task.
Yes, it closes the loop. It captures all those little infrastructure and email migration details perfectly. Competitors like MS Project or Asana don't have this built in natively, according to their comparison slide later on.
Huge time saver. So the tip is, stop taking verbatim notes. Record the meeting and let AI extract the summary and decisions.
Be fully present in the meeting instead of being a stenographer.
So we're capturing all this data from meetings, schedules, budgets. What do we do with it? Slide 9 is reporting stakeholder alignment, automated. We've got an AI report generator interface where you select modules like health, budget, timeline, and just click generate.
This addresses the stakeholder gap perfectly. Executives do not want to log into your project management tool. They don't want to decipher a Kanban board. They want a clear story.
The slide shows context-aware narrative generation. It spits out a text block explaining a critical condition in an enterprise project.
It means the AI writes the status report for you with one click. But look at the example text on the slide. It doesn't just vomit numbers onto the page. It actually says, the project is in critical condition because while progress is at 98%, the documentation is stalled.
So it actually explains the conflict in the data. High progress, but low health score.
Precisely. It provides the why. That narrative generation is a massive competitive advantage over just basic data dumping. It frames the status so the executive understands the bottleneck immediately. Executive ready in seconds.
Reclaiming that 30% of your week we talked about. So the tip here, use narrative reports to explain the why behind the numbers to your executives.
Give them the story, not just the spreadsheet.
Moving to slide 10, governance, the single source of truth. We see 3 screens here: contextual communication for chat, centralized assets for files, and role-based governance for team permissions.
It's basically the anti-silo slide. It keeps the chat securely inside the project context. If you are discussing a specific vendor contract, that chat happens right there on the contract task, not in a generic messaging app where it gets buried under lunch orders.
Contextual communication, so it keeps the history attached to the actual work.
Which is vital for clarity and security. They highlight clear owner, vendor, and stakeholder roles. It ensures the right people see the right things.
So the actionable tip for slide 10 is to stop using general chat apps for critical project decisions. Keep your communication contextual.
100%.
Slide 11 brings this all together in a real-world scenario. The $2 million ERP integration. It shows a timeline flow from detection to analysis to action to update
This is a fantastic framework for our listeners, the DAAU loop. Detect, analyze, act, update. First, detect the health score drops on the dashboard. Second, analyze, you click in and see the critical path shows an API delay.
Third, act, you hold a meeting, and the AI meeting notes capture the remediation. And finally, update. The AI report generator instantly updates the CIO.
And they claim this entire crisis cycle happens in under an hour.
Under an hour. That's incredible.
That's the speed of modern business. Without a unified tool like this, that cycle easily takes 3 days. You spend a day noticing the problem, a day figuring out who caused it, and a day writing the apology email.
Rabin, the problem has compounded. So your actionable tip in a crisis, follow the DAU framework. Detect, analyze, act, update.
Keep it tight and keep it moving.
Let's look at slide 12, the comparison why Project View PM wins. This is the comparison matrix. Project View PM has green check marks all the way down for real-time health, AI meeting notes, budget forecasting, and setup time, which is listed at roughly 5 minutes.
They're throwing punches here. They're positioning themselves right in the Goldilocks zone. On one side, you have traditional tools like MS Project, which have manual setup or none for these AI features. And on the other side, task apps like Asana, which are marked as limited or none.
So they're claiming to combine enterprise power with consumer-grade usability plus AI innovation.
The killer stat here, assuming the competitors haven't updated their features recently, is that setup time. MS Project takes weeks. Project View takes 5 minutes. Speed to value is the critical metric for software now. Nobody has time for a 6-month implementation cycle.
So the tip is blunt. Don't settle for tools that require days or weeks of setup time.
If you can't figure it out in an afternoon, your team simply won't adopt it.
Slide 13 quantifies all this with ROI, measurable impact on delivery. We've got huge purple stats here. 90% reduction in manual reporting time, 100% traceability, real-time visibility into burn rates, early risk detection via health scoring.
The 90% reduction ties directly back to those AI reporting features we discussed. PMs get their time back. But for me, the early risk detection is the real ROI. If you catch a $50,000 mistake before you make it, this software pays for itself instantly.
Absolutely. The actionable tip here, measure your reporting time before and after adopting AI tools to actually prove that ROI to your higher-ups.
You have to measure the baseline if you want to prove the value.
Finally, we hit the conclusion on slides 14 and 15. Slide 14 says, manage the project, don't let the project manage you. And 15 is the call to action, ready to take control. Request a demo or start a free trial.
It's a very strong emotional hook. It taps right back into that feeling of 4 p.m. Sunday helplessness we discussed at the start. They are pitching the discipline of PMP standards combined with the pure speed of AI.
So the final tip from the deck, make the move from chaos to clarity today.
Don't wait until the next project fails.
So we've really scrutinized this command center concept. It's honestly impressive. It addresses the pain points clearly, and the AI integration feels genuinely native, not just bolted on as an afterthought.
It does. It handles the drudgery, the note-taking, the critical path calculations, the reporting.
But I have to ask you, if the AI is doing the scheduling, forecasting the budget, taking the notes, and writing the executive reports.
What is actually left for the human project manager?
Exactly. Are we automating ourselves out of a job here?
I really don't think so, but I do think the fundamental nature of the role flips entirely. Think about it this way. If AI is now fully handling the science of project management, the math, the dates, the critical path data compilation,
then the human has to focus entirely on the art.
Exactly. The art, negotiation, empathy, strategic leadership, convincing a stubborn stakeholder why they can't have that extra feature, calming down a stressed-out developer, unblocking a political stalemate between 2 rival departments.
Because those are things that algorithms simply cannot do.
Right. Project View handles the data, so you can handle the people. But it does mean that PMs who only know how to update spreadsheets and nag people for status updates, they might be in real trouble. The role is evolving from administrator to leader.
So you need to level up your soft skills, because the hard skills are being automated away.
That is the real provocative thought to leave on. The tool frees you up, but you have to know what to do with that freedom.
A little bit of existential dread to end the deep dive.
I like it. Just keeping everyone on their toes.
Well, if you want to see if you can reclaim that 30% of your week and maybe sharpen your leadership skills with all that newly found free time, check out that morning coffee view for yourself.
And definitely verify that 5-minute setup time.
For sure. Thanks for diving deep with us today.
Catch you next time.